In this video, I'm showcasing the dropship from Trailmakers Airborne Campaign. Let's do a quick tour and see how close I got. If you're new here and you like Trailmakers builds just like this, hit like and subscribe, because I upload new builds every single week. These are the dropships. There is version 1 and version 2. Version 1 here is the one with all the thrusters in the front, the bottom, the bigger legs, and less sleek look, but is shorter to the ground and more accurate to the size of the actual dropship from the campaign. So version 1 over here, let's take a look at version 1 first. So as you can see, the legs are very spread out here in a sort of leg formation, but the legs here, the thrusters here are a lot larger since they needed to help lift up the whole entire vehicle. A lot more than version 2 does. Version 1 here has dragon engines as the main legs, thrusters, and 4 of those space thrusters. It seems that I've upgraded this because I built this during the Airborne campaign. Well, not the campaign mode, but the sandbox mode, and referenced it. The colors on this front plate are a little off, but I have fixed it in version 2. Let's take a look at the inside. So, don't mind me. There are a couple of these blocks here. There's a light up here, and the blue seat, just like the real thing. Back here is the aiming crosshair. It is a blue aiming crosshair with a nice clear view so that you even in first person can see outside through that one tiny window. They both strafe. Version 2 and version 1 both strafe. But I do feel that version 1 is just slightly closer to the real thing because they are of the same shape. But the legs are a little less accurate. Now let's take a look at the thruster design. The cap design of version 1 and version 2 are both identical in design. So here are the back thrusters. They are covered in blue. There are 2, and the caution tape is wrapped around the side to mimic the actual thing. There's the logo. I would have done the numbers, but I decided to go with the Trailmakers logo since it was easier. Or I just didn't want to do the numbers for some reason, so I didn't do it. There are a lot of stabilization mechanisms on this thing, including these gyros and a bunch of logic and gyro stabilizers that can be turned on and off. Let's go over to version 2. Version 2 here is just slightly taller because of this midsection. The midsection is full of springs. It is to absorb the shock that the real one, that this other one, has suspension for. So it will act the same, but it'll be slightly taller because of the springs, and absorb all the shock that the version 1 could. The legs here are a little more better designed. You can see there are pipes and legs. The thrusters are space thrusters. All the thrusters here on the bottom are space thrusters, and they are designed as legs. These kind of do look like the Mega Drill legs, but miniaturized. Now let's move to the functionality. Now over here, version 1, it can go up and it can go down. It's logic from those single engine VTOLs. Let me lie down on the ground first. I can strafe side to side. I can go forward via the thrusters. I can also go backwards. I don't know how. I think it's just via the controls here. Gyro stabilizers. I can also shoot an EMP. Just like that. With the controls Z, I can turn off the lights. I can also turn off stabilization if I want more accurate landings. I can click V, which opens the cockpit. Shift and Control. Control moves it down. If I were to use this in space, it would be moving downwards. and shift is just to disable the thrusters. Now let's go into the cabin view. Cabin view here, you can see the crosshair is kind of aligned with the aiming. I think it's also because the camera is a little off-centered. That's fine. There are canisters, which are also the downwards arrows. One here, one here. Yeah, downwards movement. They're logic all over, and the sea is blue. If I were to move this open, you can see the light as it moves out, and now let's move on to vehicle number 2. This is vehicle number 2. As you can see, the interior is pretty much the same. There is basically no differences. The light is about the same spot. Let me move out to a different view. Now, I will do some more talking about the cabin. There are blue tubes and antenna, just like the one on the actual reference here. There's an EMP launcher. The top halves of both of these are basically identical, I think. Oops. Yep. They are identical. No changes have been made. The legs, you can move up and you can move down, exactly the same. And as you can see, all shock is absorbed. So I move up, and I could click 1 on this version to do something special. Retract the legs. On the real one, the legs can be retracted. But on this one, they can be moved up and down. Like landing gear. Q and E, still strafe. Z, lights, X is also the stabilization. V also opens up the cockpit. Like all the same. Space upwards. It can turn just fine. Moves forward and backwards. The forward movement is a lot faster than version 1. I would assume. Yep, a lot faster than version 1. So, I will go back to bringing version 1 back out here, because it's a little more accurate to the real thing. Let's see. Come back here. Come back here. I didn't want to throw you off the cliff. Come back here. Okay, we're gonna bring this one back to the island. EMP shocked that one. Right there. Doing a little dance. I can't see. I can't see! There we go. All of them can hover off the ground just fine. The other one can hover about the same, though they do slowly drift downwards over time. Let's do a landing test. I'll reach about this height. Let's see. About here. And then I will drop it via the shift. So, 3, 2, 1. No damage has been sustained. None that I can see. So we are good. Now let's get the other one. You might think this one is a little more sensitive, but you may be proved wrong. So about here. 3, 2, 1. It is a bouncy. It is very bouncy. And not as shock absorbent as the other one. Bouncy. Very, very bouncy. But no damage has been sustained on either of them. So I think this test is a success. Now let's do a high drop landing. So we're gonna go about here. And then let's see if I can drop it and survive. Ugh. So we have sustained damage, but it is still operatable. Not too bad of damage. The other one's about to fall off the cliff. everything's still functionable. I see no problems. So, I guess I can call this a success. Now let's also drop this one. And then see if the thrusters are powerful enough to survive momentum. 3, 2, 1, go. Nope. They're not powerful enough to save it if it were to drop. Or I just pulled it up too late. Both of them could be very good variables. This one's falling off. You see the ground. You can see the box, the floor box from here. So I can reshape this and respawn. Lift it up to the ground and see if it can survive a high drop. So let's see. Here. I feel that the thrusters are a little weaker on this one. Most of the damage stayed in the legs, and so the cockpit is a little less damaged. It is farther up, so I'll give that the benefit of the doubt that it is higher, and so the damage won't get up all the way to the cockpit, and I hope that's what's happening. So let me respawn this one, and then see if the thrusters on the bottom are powerful enough to save me from a high drop. Let's lift it from back here. 3, 2, 1. Oops, wrong button. Wow. Spotless. Let's see if I can do it again. The bounciness really does save it. I feel that it is very bouncy, and so it saves itself from a lot of the momentum. That's the other one just doesn't. It just absorbs all the shock. And since the shock has nowhere to go, it goes into damage. But this one, it just bounces into wiggliness, and so the legs don't break off as easy. Oh, I think I'm stuck. There we go. Let's see if I can remove one of my legs. Exit anyways. We have lost a leg. And so we'll be trying to drop ourselves. Again. 3, 2, 1. Nothing. No damage. The turning is awful. I do recall turning up the turn on the other one, version 1, just recently. So, I guess that's a problem. No damages have occurred. Looks spotless. So let's repair this one and go into the build, and then delete a leg. 3, 2, 1. We've sustained damage in the same areas as before. The thrusters and a couple of the engines. But that's about it. Nothing too bad. Nothing catastrophic, but I do think version 2 is a lot better in terms of breakage. Though I do feel that version 1 is a lot softer in terms of bounce. And the other one's just very bouncy, it just flies away via the bounce. Alright. These two are the builds. Now I'm gonna have to go to the reference build. The reference block. Islands of Vaudeville. This is the reference build. I mean, the reference. It has a dragon engine, no, a raw engine on the bottom. Those ours doesn't, since mine doesn't, because I couldn't figure out how to fit it in there. The legs are relatively small, but that's basically impossible for a build like this. There are steps that I couldn't make. There's a seat in there, which I could cleanly replicate. This top thing is a little weird. The antenna is centered on this, but it is not on the reference, on my build. And everything else about it is about the same. So I'm gonna bring out the build here. Where is it? Let's bring version 2 here first. So this is version 2. As you can see, the legs are pretty similar, but the height is something out of this world. It is really tall. It's very, very tall. Let's bring out version 2. Version 1. Where are you, version 1? Oh, there you are. Version 1 is a little more closer to the real thing, I would feel. I'll just flip it to this side and show you guys. So it is about the same curvature. The tubes are in the same place. The antenna is about the same height, but it is not centered due to this being a 2 wide block. It is not a 3 wide block, so they're not the same height. I mean, the same centerage. But for the most part, it is very similar. I can also do this. There's no EMP launcher on the dropship, but I just think it was cool to add a EMP launcher on this thing. And it'd be good for self-defense if it was to get attacked by a space pirate of sorts. The engines on the back, I couldn't fully replicate as the fins are blue. But on the raw engines, the tips on the raw engines are only blue. But for the most part, I think it is very, very accurate to most things. Though I think the bottom part could be bluer. But if it was blue, then I think it would be too bright. Comparison time. Let's open top. If you like builds like these, you can go ahead and like and subscribe. I have more builds just like this, because, well, I like recreating things from games. And that's it for today's video. Go ahead, like and subscribe, do all the things, comment your suggestions for future builds, or one of these 300 plus builds in here that you guys may want to see. I got a lot of them. A lot. And they're basically endless. So, thank you guys for watching. My sheep friend over here is licking its feet. Yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching.